Back in high school, I once had to stay late to retake a chemistry exam. The building was nearly empty. Most of the lights were off. Just me, the teacher, and, apparently, the janitor. I saw him when I went to the restroom. He was an older guy, gray beard, blue cap, pushing one of those yellow mop buckets down the hallway. He smiled when he saw me and said, "You're a quiet one. That's good. Quiet ones notice things." I awkwardly smiled back and went into the restroom. When I came out, he was gone. I didn't think much of it until the next morning. I told my friend about the weird thing he said. She looked at me like I was making it up. "There's no janitor here," she said. "Yeah, there is. Old guy, cap, mop bucket." She shook her head, then told me something I wish I'd never asked about. A few years back, there was a janitor who worked late nights. Super nice. Everyone liked him, until the night he died in the west hallway. Heart attack. Right outside the science wing. They say he kept cleaning even after he collapsed, just long enough to finish mopping. I laughed it off, obviously. But the next time I stayed late for study group, I passed the science wing again. And there, in the reflection of the trophy case, I saw someone pushing a mop bucket down the hall. But when I turned, the hallway was empty. For about a month, I saw her almost every morning. An older woman, neatly dressed, gray coat, always standing at the same bus stop on Maple and 3rd. She never looked at her phone, just stood there, quietly, holding a black leather handbag in both hands. I never really spoke to her, just nodded sometimes. She always smiled back, kind of gently. One morning, I was running late and had to wait for the bus on the opposite side of the street. She was already there. This time, she didn't smile. She looked straight at me and said, across the street, "Don't go home today." No context, no change in tone, just those words. I frowned and stepped closer to the curb. What? But she was already turning away. That night, I got home around 6 p.m. The front door was open, which was weird. I always lock it. I stepped inside. Everything seemed untouched until I reached the bedroom. The window was cracked. The floor had muddy boot prints, and on the dresser was my wallet, emptied of cash, and a kitchen knife. I called the cops. They didn't find anyone. Nothing was broken. Nothing else was taken. Just the knife moved. And whatever had been in my room was already gone. The next morning, I went to the bus stop again. She wasn't there. In fact, I've never seen her again. I was babysitting for a family I hadn't worked with before. Nice house, big, quiet. The parents left around 7 p.m. and told me their daughter, Ellie, was already in her room. I could let her stay up another 30 minutes and then send her to bed. Simple enough. I brought snacks and a book. Figured it'd be an easy night. Ellie was maybe 6 or 7. Sweet kid. She came downstairs to say hi, then asked if I could read her a story upstairs. As we walked to her room, she said, "Don't look in the hallway mirror." I laughed. "Why not?" She didn't. "Mom says it's not our mirror." There was a big mirror in the hallway, old-fashioned frame, looked antique. I caught my reflection in it as we passed. Just me. Nothing weird. But Ellie froze and whispered, "It looks like you, but it isn't." I turned to look again, but she grabbed my hand and pulled me toward her room. After she was asleep, I went downstairs, tried to shake it off. Around 10, I heard footsteps upstairs. I checked on Ellie. She was still asleep. I stepped into the hallway and caught a glimpse of something in the mirror. Someone walking behind me. I spun around. Empty hallway. I looked back at the mirror. Just me. But I was smiling. I wasn't smiling. The parents got home around midnight. I didn't say anything. As I was putting on my shoes, Ellie came out of her room and whispered, "You looked in it, didn't you?" I didn't answer, but she nodded anyway. "It likes you now." I live alone. Studio apartment. 3rd floor. 1 door. 1 window. I'm a little paranoid, so I double-check locks. Always. One night, I woke up around 3 a.m. No sound. Just that weird feeling, like something was off. My phone was on the nightstand, charging, but I was sure I hadn't plugged it in before bed. I sat up and stared at the charger. I only own 1 cord. It's frayed at the end, wrapped in tape. This one was brand new, clean, untouched, different. I got up, turned on all the lights, checked every corner of the apartment. Nothing. Door still locked, window still shut. Everything normal, except the charger. I unplugged it, tossed it in the trash. Didn't sleep much the rest of the night. The next morning, I went to get coffee. When I came back, my taped-up charger was gone. The new one was plugged in again. And on the screen, 100% charged. Last plugged in, 3:12 a.m. If you're still here, then you've probably noticed her too. The black cat. She shows up when things get quiet, when something's about to change. She watches. So, if she brought you here, maybe subscribe before she disappears again.